there was so much in last night's episode, and there's been so much going on around the internet and the troll farms and the accusations and the lawsuits. I mean, the list is truly endless, and we can't really take the time to go through everything, but we can try to cover some things that we haven't covered, maybe, that I have kind of found interesting along the way. So I thought I would just come on, do a quick live with you guys, give you some updates about last night's episode. So this is definitely a spoiler alert. If you did not watch last night's episode, then you definitely will not want to watch this episode. So if you haven't watched last night's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, this is your disclaimer, your warning. We have to talk about Kathy Hilton last night. We have to talk about the fact that how she was treated. I wanted to make sure I did a chat today, guys, so that you guys could, chat back and let me know what your thoughts are, because the episode was so, I don't even want to say problematic, but there was just so much going on. But of course, everything in this video is alleged. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn those notifications on. I'm definitely trying to grow my channel, so make sure you subscribe. Hi, Jojo. Hi, everyone in the chat. Let's get down to last night's episode. So we know they're in Aspen. A lot of people on Twitter are commenting, I'm going to go right in for it, on the way that Kyle has been treating Kathy, right? So we saw in last night's episode that, we know she's sleeping. Kathy arrives and she's wearing these slippers, these hotel slippers. Kyle immediately goes in, starts making fun of her for the shoes, right? Whatever. She takes the shoes off, and then Kyle puts her in this little tiny basement bedroom. And we talked about this last week, how it's in bunk beds. This episode, we actually see Kyle making a little bit of room in the closet for Kathy because she had nowhere to put any of her things. And at this point, she has not complained. I don't think Kathy has seemed high maintenance. I don't think that she has asked for anything out of the ordinary. I mean, out of all of the ladies, I would say Kathy is definitely not coming in as someone who is coming off as high maintenance, for sure. But I think Kyle almost wants us to think she's high maintenance in a way. I don't know. Anyways, we open up to this breakfast scene with Lisa and Erika and Kyle. And they're talking. I felt like that was really produced, like producers, because, Erika kind of ran up the steps and she was like, oh, I'm half ready. And they're just sitting there having coffee, and they go directly into talking about last night's episode between Diana and Sutton, where Diana calls her a see you next Tuesday, right? Did you guys notice how when Kyle and Erika and Lisa were talking, she said it was very mean girl of Garcelle and Sutton to unfollow Erika, right? And I think throughout this episode, we saw Erika kind of giving Garcelle a chance almost. I think she was trying to rock with her a little bit. But when Garcelle, obviously at the end of the episode, I don't think Erika felt that way. We have to talk about Erika separately, though. So how did you guys feel about the way Kyle treated Kathy? Do you guys think that she treated her in any sort of way? Please comment. I want to know your thoughts. I also want to talk about Lisa Rinna having the roller on her face. Did you guys catch that? Because I definitely thought that was a dig at Sutton. Do you guys remember last season when Sutton used the roller on her face so she wouldn't cry when her and Crystal were fighting? And did you guys notice that Lisa Rinna had the roller on her face when they were at the breakfast table? And I felt like she was doing it as an insult to Sutton, because they're definitely not supporting Sutton at all. Even Kyle's comforting of her seems passive aggressive. I think that's why Sutton says, I'm not being dramatic. She's, Kyle's calling her dramatic. We didn't hear that. So Sutton repeats it, says I'm not being dramatic. Did we know that Kathy Hilton had this tequila brand out? Because I was not aware that Kathy had any sort of tequila brand or that she was promoting anything, but it makes sense, guys, because all of the other women on the Housewives, they're promoting stuff too, right? They're Lisa's got her lip kit, and Kyle promotes the agency, and Dorit had Beverly Beach, and so they've all had their little business adventures that they've always had documented on Beverly Hills. And They work out a contract with Bravo. Bravo obviously receives a percentage of what they sell, or like the agency pays them, or they get a percentage, whatever the case may be. All of the women are promoting something, or at least have been at some point while they were on the show. So that now this is Kathy's second season. I think she just wanted to maybe get involved in like something like promotional. Obviously, she doesn't need the money, but at the same time, she's watching all of them. They probably have to film specific scenes and say specific things. If Bravo's getting a cut of their business proceeds, then obviously it's a win-win situation if Bravo can advertise and then, of course, make money off of what viewers purchase from the show. So I think her getting involved in this tequila brand was simply trying to get involved, trying to not look like someone who just sat at home and did charity work. Like, she is trying to show the ladies, like, I can work, I'm going to get involved. I don't need the money. For sure, she doesn't need the money, but she's going to do it anyways. So interesting that Lisa is going to come in with this Kendall Jenner tequila whole deal, right? Because if you guys remember, Kendall Jenner got in a lot of trouble when she first came out with this tequila, and she did an advertisement and people thought it was very problematic because she was like wearing braids and she had like people of ethnic on horses, and just like, I guess they were accusing her, I don't even know what the right word is, but they felt disrespected, and she got a lot of hate for her first set of advertisement when it came to this tequila brand, almost so much so that they were going to scrap the whole idea they had considered it. I think it's so funny because Lisa is obviously kissing up to the Kardashians, right? We know that when Kim first came out with Skims, she wasn't around to do like the first set of like advertisement, and she had came up with the idea that she would like it to kind of look like the 80s type of infomercials that her mom used to do, because Kris Jenner often would go on and do these sort of paid programming with Bruce, and they would make money off of the products that they would sell. For instance, maybe they would be doing an infomercial for like stationary bicycles, because, you know, he's this amazing Olympian, and so he uses the bicycle and I use the bicycle, and you need to use the bicycle too. Like, purchased by calling this 1-800 number. Kris did a lot of that. That's how they got their income. Kris was basically Bruce's manager, right? I mean, they had hella kids they had to take care of. Robin Dixon just came out and did a podcast talking about Kim Kardashian before she was Kim Kardashian. When she was with Ray J, she was still Brandy's assistant, and that their family was pretty much broke. And that's why they ended up doing the reality series in the first place, was because the family didn't have any money for all those kids and the Beverly Hills lifestyle, if you will. Regardless, what Kim did for the Skims advertisement was she did old school infomercials like her mom used to do. And in order to do that, she recruited some of her mom's friends. And so for some of the infomercials for Kim's Skims line, it was actually Kris, Kyle, and Lisa Rinna, because everyone knows Lisa Rinna hustles and she will sell you, you know, a bridge that's not there. Like, she is QVC queen. She knows how to sell things through the TV. So she was a part of the deal, right? So she's like really kissing up to Kris by like making sure that she's mentioning Kendall's struggling tequila brand on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because it is struggling. And at the time that it came out and at the time that this was being filmed, again, Kendall's tequila brand was not doing well. And this is really one of the few things we see Kendall even affiliated with. We know she does the modeling, but other than that, I don't think we see a lot of endorsements come from her. So, I don't know. I kind of want to know what your guys' thoughts are. Like, why would Lisa purposely go up to the bar after she knows that Kathy is now endorsing a specific tequila? Her whole family is endorsing it. The daughters are too. And go up and make sure that she orders a shot of Kendall's tequila in front of cameras, giving it free advertisement basically. And let's not forget that when Kathy started talking about the tequila, if you guys watch everyone's confessionals, like Lisa's like, oh God, she's talking about the tequila. And then they do a flashback to when she talked about it. Who knows? It could have been months before. We don't even know because there was no date on it. And the flashback, there was no date on the flashback. But Lisa definitely makes it out like Kathy is just, trying so hard to sell this tequila, basically, that she's so annoyed she can't hear another word about it. So the ladies are disrespectful. They blame it on, I don't want to get demonetized, but they took a special brownie. I don't know if they split it, cut it in fours. And so they kind of blamed it on the brownie, like they were just laughing and giggling. And we didn't really see if Kyle took part of the brownie. Did you guys notice if we saw that? If we saw Kyle take a piece of the brownie? Because she's very discreet. Remember when they were overseas and they were in the special restaurant and she wouldn't take part in it because it was on camera, but we know that she's taken part in it plenty of times before. And we know that Mauricio, is a regular type of guy who, he probably smokes every day and that's no big deal. But Kyle is very, she doesn't want people to know, basically. So that's why I was wondering if you guys saw her take part in the brownie. Anyways, they blame it on the brownie. They're giggling. They're not paying attention to Kathy at all, which was really, really disrespectful. We saw Kyle also call out Kathy during dinner, and I felt like Kathy was embarrassed when Kyle was like, oh my gosh, Diana, look at my sister's bag. Isn't that so beautiful? Just feel it. And like Diana's like roaring laughing. Like her response was problematic. Like it was like, obviously there was like conflict brewing. She could have responded like, oh, Kyle, stop teasing your older sister. Kathy, maybe she didn't want to show off. I kind of appreciate the fact that she went there like in slippers and, just regular clothes, and that she wasn't worried about Gucci, Prada, Burberry, whatever the name brands are, Balenciaga. Like she just went to Aspen, She came from press. She was doing press for Paris and Love. And again, Kathy's not used to working. Kathy's not used to having to be places when people tell her where to be and when to be and to do press and to be smiling and happy and graceful and charismatic, on call all the time, a lot more than she would be used to when she's out doing press for Paris. Then she flies to Aspen. She's jet lagged. She's went through a time zone. She has a layover. She gets there. She has a shitty ass room in double bunk beds with no room for her things. Her sister makes fun of her slippers. Her sister makes fun of her handbag. Her sister makes fun of her tequila. And she takes it. She takes it all. And she smiles as far as we can tell. We could feel the tension with Mauricio, right? I mean, whenever, like, Kathy was asking for silverware, like napkins. She wasn't asking for anything extraordinary at all. Like she just asked if the corn would be grilled. And he, of course, gave her a like kind of shitty response. Like, well, if you want to eat your corn with your steak, then we're going to boil it. Did you guys take a good look at Dorit and Mauricio at the dinner? And yes, Ben, it's very annoying that Mauricio is on every girls' trip. And then he also is at the dinners with them. Did you guys see how Dorit was calling him, like, I think what did she call him? Like, baby cakes or, I don't know, something like that. And people were literally like, it sounded, you couldn't tell if, like, the camera wasn't on either Kyle or Dorit, but I don't even think Kyle was sitting next to Mauricio. He was at, like, the head of the table, and I think Dorit was sitting next to him. But it just seemed, I don't know, guys, it just seemed really suspicious. JoJo said that Dorit called him honey. It just seemed very suspicious. We did see her like kind of pick through her food and ask Mauricio like what kind of meat she ordered, and he said it was chicken sausage. Ha ha ha. It was not funny. Ben says, I wonder why they weren't in person on Watch What Happens Live last night. You know what, Ben? I actually wondered the same damn thing. I did. Dana Wilkie did a review today, and she said that the ladies are not going to be get to see the last 3 episodes of the season before they do the reunion. Okay, let me tell you how crazy that is. Jojo, you're right. It was baby cakes. Yes, baby cakes. Thank you, Jojo. That's what Dorito called Mauricio. They're reckless. They think that we don't see it, and then they get mad when we point it out. But they're reckless because they have cameras and mics on them all the time. Anyways, Dana said that the ladies are not going to be getting to view, see, copies, nothing of how the last 3 episodes of the season are going to be edited. The ladies are not going to see those before they tape the reunion. And this is very, very, very out of the ordinary, guys, because they don't even know what's going to air. Right? Like, you don't even, I mean, it'd be very difficult to try to run a reunion and them not have the last 3 episodes of the entire season. And we know that this has been like a buildup of the Aspen trip and Kathy and the racial slurs and Erika. Dorito said, baby cakes, did I order sausage? It's very, very out of the ordinary. And Dana said it's possible that there's legal things going on with Bravo that would cause them to possibly not give the ladies the last 3 episodes because there's things they're legally not going to be able to talk about. But that really wouldn't make any sense because then why would they air it? It's all really strange, really strange. I mean, personally, as soon as Andy Cohen tweeted and said, it's time for your Beverly Hills housewives questions, I was like, no, it's not. It's not time. It's definitely not time, Andy. Just so you know, it is definitely not time. And I thought it was way too early for him to be tweeting for the questions. And now we're finding out that the ladies aren't going to get to view the last 3 episodes. How can you film a reunion without showing the cast the last 3 episodes? It doesn't seem right. It smells fishy. It definitely does because again, the ladies haven't even done a lot of press about this whole incident because of the fact that they don't know how it's going to be edited. Ben says maybe they can't show it but not talk more details. He said maybe they can show the scenes but they can't talk more details. I think that Bravo does not want to make an enemy out of Kathy Hilton. And we know that because Lisa told us that. She said, basically, we found out production had leaked, allegedly, that Kathy had said a racial slur in Aspen. And so that's why Lisa talked about it publicly because there were people on the staff and production that were pissed and upset about it. And they said Bravo's trying to cover it up. And so they outed it. And then Lisa basically, co-signed for them. This was way before the whole Patrick Summers thing, guys. This was like way, 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 way back. And so it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't see Bravo trying to make an enemy out of Kathy Hilton because Kathy Hilton has connections way long list, okay? Her daughter's married to a Rothschild, okay? Like, the lady has connections. I don't think that you would want to air footage that would make her look insensitive and racial and privileged on a already struggling channel. I feel like Bravo's like struggling in like the fact that they sometimes are insensitive to a lot of the viewers and even the things. I mean, just racist people on the cast. Look at Salt Lake City. Look at how long it took Bravo to fire them. A week. It took them a week to fire Jenny from Salt Lake City. So I don't know. I think Bravo's really struggling in communities of people, like groups, demographics of people that used to love Bravo. And now they're stepping back and kind of taking a look at what they're watching and if they want to support it. And I think Bravo, Andy's kind of like struggling a little bit too. I don't know. It's just wild. Here's a couple of things also I wanted to talk about. I took note of. I thought it was wild that Diana, hold on, Barbara said Kathy started getting angry the moment she walked into the house because Kyle did not treat her nice. I don't believe Cassie said anything racial. Garcelle would not put up with that. I agree with you. And I think that Kathy and Garcelle seem genuinely like fun together. I think I've heard that they show the cast the last 3 episodes before they film the reunion. Usually, yes, JoJo, usually they do. This is completely unlike Bravo to not give the cast the 3 episodes before the reunion or whatever, however many there is before they film. It could be 2, it could be whatever the case may be. They typically 99.9% of the time make sure that the ladies view that, because the ending, obviously, like the whole season has been building up to this Aspen trip, and I don't know, it just seems a little bit like how are they going to know what to even talk about? Jojo said 818 is Kendall's tequila. Garcelle was ready to end her relationship with Sutton of what she said was dark or racial. Yeah. Wild. Okay. I wanted to talk about Diana in her confessional with her short hair and I don't like that confessional look at all. And that seems to be the only confessional look that we're getting from her. Did they not do another look from her besides that like red dress, which she does look pretty in that dress? I don't know why we're not seeing any other confessional looks. Kyle definitely, all the comments I'm seeing, I think Kyle definitely treated Kathy poorly, gave her a crappy room, made fun of her shoes, made fun of her bag. She knows that Kathy is, she's a little bit older than the ladies. She's 10 years older than them. And she's new to the group, and she, everyone knows her and everyone knows Paris, but they don't know her, and she's got cameras all around her. And I think she's kind of looking for Kyle to be somewhat comforting to her or like navigate her a little bit, and Kyle is actually doing like the complete opposite. She's like, let's make fun of you on camera and show everyone your shopping bag. I love that Kathy Hilton took that bag to Aspen. The confessional look makes Diana with the short hair and the pink suit make her look older. I agree with you. Now, in one of her interviews, she says Sutton had 2 miscarriages and she didn't tell anyone. So how honest, can she really be if she had 2 miscarriages and she didn't tell anyone? I felt like Diana was being unsensitive to Sutton's miscarriages the same way Diana felt like Sutton was being insensitive to her miscarriages, right? It's kind of like 2 wrongs don't make a right, ladies, right? So miscarriages are a really painful, horrible thing that people go through. And again, viewers are not trying to watch trauma on the housewives. So like, it's a little harsh. It's a little harsh, I think. If I was Sutton, that's a little harsh. Anyways, also, a good tidbit of information I want to tell you that Dana Wilkie told us in her video today. She said that Diana and Dorit are much, much closer than they are appearing. Okay, we know that Dorit allegedly went to Diana's hotel at midnight because Diana had an extra room and it's a very secure location. And I just didn't buy that. I just did not buy that because they were in a beautiful, luxurious, I'm sure, very secure rental home that was part of the agency, that they were basically advertising on the show, just like they did on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip when Mauricio accompanied Kyle and they were in Turks and Caicos. That house also was part of the agency. And they were basically advertising it. Bravo would get a share of, some of whatever they're making as profit. And that's why they were able to give away a 4-day, 3-night trip. And we saw that in one of the competitions. Remember that Kenya won the 4-day, 3-night trip back to Turks and Caicos to stay at that, huge mansion. Yes. So, and they gave it to Teresa. That's why Kenya and Teresa became such good friends, because Kenya won that trip and she gave it to Teresa. And Teresa was so touched because she said no one had really done anything for her like that, especially like with the cast that she films with now. Anyways, Diana and Dorito are allegedly much, much closer than they appear, and I believe this. Do you guys believe it? Jojo says, I thought Dorito picked sides when she went to the hotel. I think so too, actually. I think that it was an opportunity for her to be alone with Diana and, and basically embark herself on Diana and make friends with her, because it seems like these ladies who are supposed to have money and have this like extravagant lifestyle are like flocking to Diana because she has money. Do you guys feel that? It's like they're all trying to like get in with Diana just because she has money. No other reason. Not because they've heard what a wonderful person it is, her wonderful person she is. In fact, it's quite the opposite, okay? Very much the opposite. These rumors were out a long, long time ago, guys. The article that allegedly Michael Downey Jr. wrote on Diana, which was very lengthy and detailed for anyone who maybe trafficking is like a vague word for you, then that would be a great item, blind item from 2015 that you may want to go back and read. However, it was very detailed in Diana's moves at the time. And so I know that a lot of viewers didn't know Diana's reputation until after the show aired and after things started to come out. And I was very cautious about what I aired about Diana because of the fact that you guys see, guys, she's suing like 7 different bloggers, right? So I'm always giving you guys where you can go to find it. You can read it yourself. It's there. I promise you. If you go back in my videos, anytime I talk about Diana, I always list the reference, or I put it in the notes of the website. It could be taken down. I don't know. I have screenshots of a lot of things. If you're interested, you can always email me, text me. Anyways, it's like they're flocking to Diana because she has money. And so they say PK, they're all hanging out. PK, Diana, her husband, and Dorit. And this makes sense because the husband wants to be a music star. And who is Paul? Who's PK? Well, PK is Boy George's manager. Well, what a coinkydink. Now he's probably over here giving free manager advice to Diana's husband, right? Who knows what PK's got going on? You got to watch PK and Dorit too, because watch how they move. Like, they were best friends with Kyle and PK, or Kyle and Mauricio. They were vacationing together with the kids, Mexico, everything for like a solid year. And now you don't see that. You just simply don't see it. And I think Dorit misses Kyle. Erika Jayne, I didn't like how she was not showing empathy for the victims. PK, the pop king, he has connections with the music industry. I definitely think that too. He has been doing it a long time, so he does have connections. I just think that he's probably over there giving Diana's husband lots of advice, or probably trying to recruit him as it is. Which, whatever, like, hustle, do your thing, if work, whatever. But it's just like, you don't need Diana and Dorit to like hustle that man into making you his manager. The guy's like 22 years old. PK's been around. He's in his 50s. You know what I'm saying? He knows all the right things to say to Diana's husband to take him on as a client. And I won't be surprised if we end up hearing that at the reunion, Dorit telling us that PK is going to be helping Diana's husband with his music career. Bottom line, Barbara says, PK trying to get money out of them. Absolutely, because they know they're drowning in so much money that he doesn't have to feel bad about taking advantage of them, because he knows they're filthy rich, right? He knows they're filthy. Look at the people taking advantage of Diana. Just look. I mean, Diana takes advantage of people, but there's people that, I mean, like the people she sends to burn sage in the places that she stays. Do you guys know what that would cost? just to like fly someone to Hawaii to a house to burn sage and, cast out bad energy, it's just a little peculiar. Like, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Okay. And say, you're someone who isn't a good person and you don't give any F's. And so you just charge her whatever and go there and burn whatever you can find and tell her that you cast out energy and she cuts you a check for 100K. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think the lady's got, everyone's like all the lights are on, but nobody's home type situation. I don't know. But I think that PK could absolutely hustle Diana's husband and he wouldn't feel bad about it because they have so much damn money. What else? I want to tell you guys some other stuff. Okay, if Kyle tries to deny the fact that Kathy was comfortable in that room, let us remember that when Kyle went in there and Kathy was sleeping, Kyle was like, there's no room for anything. There's no hangers. And Kyle's like rummaging around and she pulls out a handful of hangers. She's like, what are these? And Kathy's like, there's nowhere to hang my stuff, right? And you hear Kyle shuffling around some more. And then her response is, well, how much space do you need? Like, how dare you need space in the closet? How much could you really need? We're only going to be here a couple of days. But it shows us that she didn't prepare that room for anyone to stay there, or she just didn't prepare it because she was sending Kathy to it, right? Because that was after she stayed the night. So when Kathy goes on the reunion and says Kyle didn't try to do anything to make me comfortable or like wasn't concerned that I was staying in her home or, showed me any sort of hospitality, I don't want Kyle to be like, that's not true. There was room in the closet. I want us all to remember that she had to go in there and make room in that closet and give her hangers after she'd already stayed there. Okay. Oh, yeah. And Garcelle and these earrings. She was really, I don't know if that was producers, but she was like on the earring thing, right? Garcelle was on top of the earring thing, probably because she had to talk about it on the reel. And so producers probably gave them like a front and back of details of what transpired with these earrings, but I'll give you a quick watered down version. Allegedly, Tom purchased these with a check directly from I don't want to say the trust account, but that's kind of what it is, right? Because like Tom Girardi and Keys has a business account, and then Girardi and Keys has a trust account, and this is allegedly like where all the victims' funds go, and then they pay the victims out of that same account. But Tom wasn't paying victims out of the account, but he did use that very same account to purchase the earrings. I mean, it's tracked right back to Girardi and Keys, okay? Erika, I think she reminded me of Tom. When she started flipping out, she reminded me of Tom. Do you guys remember when they first were on the show and Tom and Erika had dinner with Lisa Vanderpump and her husband Ken? And I can't quite remember what they were speaking about, but Erika interrupted Tom and he was effing rude to her. Like, he was rude. Like, I'm talking, don't ever interrupt me. Very much an attorney, very much I'm the most important person in the room speaking. And when Erika was flipping out about the legal process, she sounded like a little bit like an attorney. She sounded kind of like Tom, and she was using the law as an out almost, because she's saying like, let the courts run let a judge decide, let somebody else decide. Like, that's the fair thing to do, is what Erika is trying to say. But of course it did not come across that way at all. And she was very, Crystal, first of all, Crystal never should have tried. Producers must have got Crystal drunk, because I don't know what would make her think that she would be able to go toe to toe with Erika about these earrings, even though like she could have had a million comebacks to Erika about the earrings, about the victims' but she just wasn't fast enough. And I think she was like scared of Erika, and you could like see it in her eyes that Crystal was a little bit scared of Erika, which is fine, whatever. Let's like Minx, I heard she set up a charity to collect 100K for victims, even though the story reads she gave the 100K herself. I was impressed at Crystal getting back down and cry. Jojo says that's one case there's plenty of. Yes, guys, Diana Jenkins did pledge 100,000K allegedly to the victims of the airline. But the complication with that is that allegedly there was some type of business insurance on Jordy and Keith. Now, this is news because allegedly, yes, Fifi, she pledged. And now you can also pledge and give through her charity, which I feel like is really convenient that now she pledged money and everyone else can give her charity the money and she'll give it to the victims. Yeah. So don't trust Tom, but trust our charity. Erika's tongue fell out of her mouth when she found. Oh, that sounds about right. Pledge and donate is different, correct? Yes, I agree as well. She stated facts about her sister, Corey. Now, if they could just replace Diana with Kim Richards, I'd be so happy. Me too. First of all, 100K is like nothing to Diana. It's basically like $20 to us. She has millions and millions and millions. But here was the thing, whenever all of this happened, it was alleged that Tom was not paying his business insurance on Jordy and Keith because obviously they're attorneys, they're paying out settlements, they have to have a certain standard of insurance on their business that would have taken care of some of the victims and the settlements, but allegedly there was no insurance on the business, that he wasn't paying insurance. Now we're hearing, since Erika pledged this 100K, that the victims have been paid from the Lioness airline, but not the attorneys. So I don't know if that's where the pledged is coming from. Is her 100K going to turn out to basically pay for the attorneys instead of actually going to the victims who have already been paid? It's very strange. In the Hulu series, they didn't mention anything about the Lioness victims being paid. They were interviewed, actually. Some of them were interviewed, floating around YouTube, possibly on the Hulu series. I can't remember. Not just the burn victim, but also there were victims from the Lioness airline that went on camera and talked about being defrauded. And so it's very strange. All of a sudden, now they were paid. It was an insult that no one participated with Kathy about her tequila, especially Kyle laughing when she was being so rude and disrespectful. I thought that Kyle was being very rude as well. She was being really shitty to Kathy. I'm sorry, but I just think she was being really mean to her. Back to the Lioness airline victims, though. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, I guess, because then you have the burn victim from the San Bernardino fires, who is at home with his girlfriend when there was an explosion and his girlfriend sitting right beside him died, and he had like 80% burns on him, and Tom has owed him money for years and years, and he would just cut him small checks here and there and take him out to dinner. Fifi said she's going to watch a Hulu series because Erika said she never worked at the firm. There was a lot of her stuff at the firm because we saw it at auction. She had like panties and lingerie and framed lingerie with her signature and all kinds of wild things. But the burn victim, has he been paid? I don't think he's been paid. I mean, he wasn't part of the Hulu series. He hasn't been paid. We haven't heard of any of these victims being paid. So why are they saying the Lioness airline victims have been paid? How did they get paid and nobody else get paid? I don't know. It's all very, very, very strange. Because if the Lioness airlines or the Lioness victims have been paid, then Crystal's whole claim of Erika needs to give back the earrings because of the victims Well, the victims have been paid. I mean, have they been paid? Erica's not saying that they've been paid. Erica's saying prove that they haven't been paid. And the ladies are saying that is appalling. You know, these people are victims. They had people die. They went to court. They were, allotted a settlement that they never received. And Erika is saying prove that they never received the settlement. Which obviously we all know that that's bogus because all of these people got together and basically filed like class action lawsuits. So that would have to mean that all of them got together and conspired to go against Tom and Erika. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And so it's insulting to the victims and to their families. People feel like it's insulting to them when Erika says things like, well, allegedly they weren't paid. Well, allegedly they didn't get their settlement. They need to prove they didn't get their settlement. I'm going to get my day in court because they need to prove that they didn't get their settlement. And it's like, that's impossible. How do you prove that you didn't receive money? Like, how about the burn victim who can't pay for his surgeries? Like, how are you going to prove that he didn't receive a settlement? You can't. That's so bogus. But it's possible that, I don't know, anything is possible with the Girardi and Tom and Erika case. Anything is possible at this point. What was another thing I had heard? Oh gosh, so much going on with Kyle and the whole, spelling manner type lawsuit that we saw filed, where allegedly Tom had stolen millions and millions, and this guy didn't even notice. But I just think that Kyle and Kathy are not on good terms, and it's showing. All of the cracks are starting to show. Now, Kyle was trying to act like she's good friends with Paris and Nikki. Did you guys notice that she threw in there that she called and texted Paris and Nikki to let them know what their mom wore to the airport? Ha 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 ha. But we've seen Paris post things on social media that are not in favor of her Auntie Kyle, right? Kelly says, I think it's important to remember Erika's being left holding the bag. She wasn't the one lying to the burn victim. Tom was. Tom isn't competent. Ben says, I can't wait to see Kathy next week to call out Kyle. Jojo says, please like for our girl. Yes, please like. They both hate her. She loves the name dropping. Erika is left holding the bag. I completely agree. I think that they planned this when things started to go sour. I've said this in many videos. When COVID hit, Tom couldn't get money. So they planned for her and him to do the divorce. He made sure that she was set up somewhat. I mean, she has to pay rent, $11,000 a month, but he made sure she at least had a home and she had a car and she had, things, right? And then he kind of took the fall from there, and then he played the whole competency role. However, it just makes it difficult because, again, when she doesn't show compassion for the victims, and the public gets outraged, and we saw the outrage in Kyle last night a little bit. We're seeing her be very, very rageful this season. Remember how she was with Sutton when she grabbed her and like shook her, and she seemed a little aggressive last night, and I'm just wondering what's going on in her life that she's acting so erratic. Is that the word? Like, remember her at the party when she was like flipping her hair around and doing splits, and I mean, she was just basically like putting it all out there. And it's like, are you drinking too much? Are you drinking too much and you're going through something? Are you and Mauricio getting divorced and you're looking for a new husband? Like, she did say about 1,000 times that, oh, I have a really good piece of gossip for you guys. Please don't let me forget it. I cannot forget it. Please remind me, Kim Richards, blind item. Kim Richards, blind item. That all these rumors about Kyle and Mauricio's marriage, open marriage, maybe not an open marriage, but Kyle did make sure to tell us about 1,000 times that that they used to date and they would go to Vail and they would go to Aspen and skiing was like their thing. And yeah, we came here, we used to date when we were dating. Like, she said it a million times, okay? Now, here is the tea. This is really good tea. Damn it, I can't remember who I heard it from or if it was in, there was a blind item that was posted about a sibling releasing things about this housewives couple to the press, like leaking things purposely to the press, right? It said it was a sibling to a current housewife and her husband. Yep, Sheila said it's Kim. I was thinking the answer to the blind item was going to be between Teresa and Joe Giudice and Melissa because of all the things that are going on in New Jersey right now with the affair. If you guys watch New Jersey, watch my videos, you know that shit is wild in New Jersey right now. P.S. I actually am going to see Frank VIP tickets to him and Joe Gorga's Comedy Club, BravoCon Eve. So you guys know I will be getting all of the tea for you. And I mean, I will be getting all of the tea for you. Anyways, so I was thinking that it was New Jersey that had the sibling leaking the bad press to the tabloids, right? No, I was wrong. Allegedly, it's Kim Richards dropping bad press to the tabloids about Mauricio. Think about that. Think about that for a second. So Kim is leaking stuff to the press about Mauricio. Everyone gets all huffy puffy when we talk about Mauricio and these allegations of him and the affairs and the nanny and Dorit and the transgender that wrote an entire biography and book and included him in it and was never sued. Mauricio never sued them, never said nothing. He was published, the book was published with him in it, talking about his throuples that he would have on Hollywood Boulevard. Like, you can't be mad at people for talking about that. Of course they're going to talk about it. Anyways, there's lots and lots of rumors about Mauricio. And we all know the latest rumors being the Dorito rumors about how Mauricio and Dorito have been hooking up on the side. And we're seeing all this, like, I feel like it's sexual tension. And I'm just going to say it. It almost makes me cringe a little bit. I'm like uncomfortable, but I feel like I see it between them. I cannot help it. I just see it. I like know it in my heart, allegedly. Anyways, all of the allegations about Dorit. You guys remember they got so mad at Dana Wilkie because she reposted a photo of Dorit and Mauricio that somebody had made on YouTube. And they like tore her apart over it, right? So Kim knows everything. Kim knows where all the bodies are buried, right? So if Kim is leaking things, she has to make her moves very carefully, right? Because she can't tell information that only she would know or that Kyle would know was coming from her. But it's clever. And I think it possibly could be true because I think that Kim and Kathy ride together way harder than Kyle does with either of them. When I went back and watched the fight when they were overseas with Lisa Rinna and when Kim Richards just does an amazing job of putting Lisa Rinna in her place. I love that scene because Lisa's just going on and Kim's just going, And the moment that Kim responds and Lisa Rinna realizes that Kim's not buying it, you can see the look on her face, right? And so Kyle starts to say something and Kim's like, you just be quiet too, Kyle, because Kathy would never sit here and not defend me. You haven't defended me one time, Kim tells Kyle. Kim tells Kyle, when we were on the plane ride here, you didn't defend me. You put a napkin up in front of your mouth. I don't remember that scene, but that's what Kim refers to. And so she says, Kathy would never do that to me. Ding, 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 right there. And if you saw Kyle's face, which we all did because it was on camera, I think that it was true. I don't think that Kathy would probably do that. Maybe she would, maybe she wouldn't. I don't know, but I'm just saying Kim went for Lisa and she had to go for Lisa all by herself. P.S. All by herself. And she did an amazing job because she knows where the bodies are buried. And everyone knows that Kim knows where all the bodies are buried. And that's why we don't see Kim very much on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We never see a guest appearance, a little bit here and there when their show was in dire need of a plot. We saw Kim help Kyle out by bringing Brandy over there to give her the scoop on the Denise Richards scene. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Kim, because without you two, we probably wouldn't have had much of a season, right? Anyways, it's Kim leaking it. But I saw an interview of Kim because Kathy is so funny. I love this. Kathy had a viewing party the first episode that she was in for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and she had it on her lawn with a big screen. And there was some press there, and they caught Kim. And she seemed very empathetic towards her sister Kathy, because I think that Kim knows what it's like, and she knows the pressure because she dealt with it, sadly, as a child. And it could be part of her issues with, alcohol and everything because of her childhood and the pressure and of fame. Like, we see adults have breakdowns because of the pressure of fame. So it wouldn't be, crazy to think that there are children that have breakdowns from the pressure of fame as well. Kim was a child star. She was supporting her entire family because as soon as she started to get big, her mom divorced her dad and started going to the bar every day. So Barbara says Paris is shading Kyle on Instagram left and right. She is, and I am here for it. I am so here for it because it really proves Kyle to be a little bit of a liar when she's talking about all the time she's texting Paris and Nikki and it's coming off on camera like they have this great relationship and that they just correspond so casually all the time because, they're always chatting or they have a group family chat or whatever the case may be. But I'm not buying it because Kyle couldn't even get through to Kathy. Do you guys remember? Do you remember Kyle was like, I can't get through to your cell phone? Like, every time I rings, it doesn't, every time I call, it doesn't do anything. And so, a couple of buttons get pushed or whatever. And we kind of realize on camera that Kathy had put Kyle on like a do not disturb or like a sleep mode. So she wasn't getting her phone calls. And it was like that for like a year and a half. So it's possible that Kyle would call the house, I guess, to talk to Kathy. And maybe she called the house knowing that Kathy wasn't home a lot and she could leave a message. And therefore she knew that, she could say, oh, I called you, Kathy. I called the house. I left a message knowing like damn well Kathy's like, in Italy or something wild. It doesn't make sense that you're texting all the time with Paris and Nikki, but you're on do not disturb sleep mode on Kathy's phone and have been for over a year. Wild. And this is a thing that these women do. These sisters do this thing with their phone, right? How do we know that? Because this is the second or third time we've heard it. Do you guys remember when Kim got a new phone number and didn't give it to Kyle and it was like a thing, right? So I don't know if it's like their MO to do to one another, change phone numbers, block each other, put each other on do not disturb. I don't know. But I'm kind of getting the feeling that that is something they do. Because why else would Kyle be on a do not disturb sleep mode for over a year? Her sisters don't like her, period. Why doesn't someone mention Juliana Phillips? Ming's Juliana Phillips, for you guys, allegedly this is the information that Kim had held back whenever she flipped out on Rinna. This is allegedly the information that Lisa Rinna doesn't want anyone to know, which is, in the short of it, allegedly Harry SA'd a woman, Juliana Phillips, who was an upcoming beautiful actress. And he did it sometime between either hooking up with Lisa or being married to Lisa, okay? He did it on a set. They were working together. Allegedly, he SA's her. Well, she starts talking about it and telling people, and it makes its way back to Lisa Rinna. And the rumors were that Lisa went and threatened her, like, don't, like, stop opening. Who knows how the threat went? But whatever it is, the lady never acted again. And so it's pretty well-known thing around Hollywood. And I think that everyone pretty much is under the assumption and the agreement that this happened, that Harry did this. And then Lisa went and did her best to cover it up and tell the woman to shut her mouth. This would have happened, I think, before they had children, or if not, it would have been after they had their first child. But she left town and never worked again. She just quit acting, and she was beautiful and had a lot of potential. And she was, a big name at that time, just like he was. Harry Hamlin was allegedly a big name, back in the day. And allegedly on set, he SA'd her. I don't even know if it was SA. I think it was the R word. And, she started telling people. And so Lisa couldn't have that. She couldn't have Harry Hamlin getting in trouble for, some sort of SA, because he made the money. He was the big star. She was just, the bimbo with big lips, the baby mama, whatever the case was. She wasn't shit, and she knew it. And so she went and she basically accepted the fact that Harry assaulted this woman, and then she went and threatened the woman. So that's allegedly what happened with that whole story. And that's why people don't really touch on it, because it's kind of dark. It's kind of sad. We don't really know all of the details on it, but we know that Harry is not a good guy in that story. Rinna and Harry don't have more power than Bruce Springsteen. They owe like 3 mortgages on their house in Beverly Hills in the hills. Lisa needs her job. Her contract's up. This was always allegedly the rumor that she had in her contract that she wouldn't ever have to talk about, right? Was this whole situation, either with Harry's affairs in Canada, the living situation of him in Canada, them pretty much living their own lives, and then of course the fact that he could have potentially assaulted a woman who never worked again, and verbally confirmed the assault. Oh, don't forget the house is rat infested. We also saw the rats running across the stove. Yes, we did see that. And let us not forget the clothes that she had in her closet that was like allegedly vintage Tom Ford and Dolce & Gabbana. And then she pulled out a dress and said that it was like handmade for her, I want to say by Tom Ford, when she was pregnant with one of the girls. And then fans like pulled up her in that dress like 2 years earlier. They basically, viewers, Bravo, why do people lie to Bravo viewers? They know that we're going to find out. Like, we cannot help it. We will find out if you were lying, Why lie to us, Lisa? We are going to find out. So she had things in her garage that were allegedly vintage and worth money that she was keeping for her daughters, but we don't really know how vintage it is. And we know that they were always struggling. They didn't have a lot of money. They owned this store they called Bella, I think was the name of it. I think it was in the Valley, and it was a clothing, Belladonna? No, that's not it. I can't remember the name of their store. Ben is saying question mark explanation. What? They owned a store. Yes, that's the name. Thank you, Salma. For a couple of years in the Valley, they aren't making money on it. They end up having to close it. But before they do that, they start a reality show. They go on Good Morning America. They have Harry on the cell phone. The cell phone rings live on Good Morning America. And Harry's saying, I'm so sorry. I just have to take this call because we are being robbed right now. And Lisa is like a school child who has ate 3 Debbie snacks and has been forced to sit in a chair because she is just like jumping out of the chair like, like this is our life. This is what this show's about. This is going to be so exciting. Look at this. We're getting robbed on live TV. Like everything we're showing you is going to be real. And it was just all for show. It really, truly was all for show because after that, I think she got the Depends deal. And we all know, because she told us, the millions that she made on the Depends deal, right? So she starts wearing the Depends to the red carpet events where now she'll film a little segment off to the side and, kind of show up her leg and show that she's wearing Depends on the red carpet under, beautiful gowns, and you can't tell, and you got to buy these Depends. They're the best. They're amazing. And she made like a couple $1 million off of that deal. Barbara says 1 million, which at that time that was like 2020. I want to feel like 2020-ish, not 2020. I'm sorry. Like in the 2000s, like 2010, like 20 years ago is when I want to say. Then she went on from there. Trust me, there was a lot of side hustles in between, of course. And then she went on and got Real Housewives, and then QVC, and then lost QVC. And we don't know if she's going to lose the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or not. I think if Kyle goes, they have to keep Lisa. If Kyle stays, then I think Lisa will go. I think that's what will happen. That's my prediction. I think that they want to keep Kathy Hilton. I think they're going to try to give her the best edit that they possibly can. They're going to take shit from viewers like they always do. But I think they're going to try to make Kathy come out in a good light. They're going to want to sign her for next year, and they're going to want, of course, Kathy involved, possibly some sort of contract for Kim. And if that's the case, because I don't think Kim would want to come back with Lisa Rinna anyways, I think they'll give Lisa the boot. I don't know what they'll do about Crystal. Her storyline has not been very, people haven't, I don't feel like have related very well to Crystal. Maybe she's just very misunderstood, or she's so privileged that none of us really can relate, because that's how I feel. I'm like, I don't really know, whatever. Okay. I also wanted to say that Teddi Mellencamp did a podcast, because now she has to do her podcast and she doesn't have Tamra to be her sidekick, right? And if you guys have been following Teddi and Tamra's podcast, Two Teas in a Pod on, I don't know how I listen to it, my Apple podcast. And usually Teddi looks like she rolled out of bed and didn't even brush her teeth, just like put her headphones on. Her hair's like standing straight up. She looks terrible, right? And Tamra is usually put together. If her hair's messy, she'll wear like a ball cap. Teddi had Caroline from The Real Housewives of Dubai, her husband, the really young, handsome one. You guys know who I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. Well, Teddi had him on her podcast, and she had her makeup done. She had her hair done. She had her lipstick on. She was like 10 out of 10 to interview Caroline from The Real Housewives of Dubai's husband. She brings up the fact that Caroline said that he would leave her if she didn't have a baby with him. And Teddi says that, like, asked him how he feels about it. And she says, like, oh, I mean, none of us believe that, of course. You know, we don't believe that you would leave her if she couldn't have a baby with you. But what do you think? And of course he said, like, it's bullshit. I would never leave her just because we couldn't have a kid together. Like, of course I want our family to grow, but I would never leave her, and I love her. I didn't listen to the rest of the podcast because it's Teddi. I'm sorry. I like Teddi. I don't like Teddi, but I at least like Tamra, so I can like listen because I like Tamra, but I don't really like Teddi. So I can't really listen to all of that for you guys. I'm sorry. I can't. If there's like some good juicy stuff that I see on, Twitter or Instagram about their podcast, I'll make sure that I include it in my videos. But most of the time, guys, like, it's just not even worth your time to listen to the podcast. It's just not. And I only listened because I think it was like a clip. Okay. Also wanted to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac trailer did drop. So much to unpack. We have to do an entire video on it, but I did want to tell you guys that it's going to be a 75-minute premiere. And we don't see that a lot, right? So that definitely is making me say, And what's going to happen? Are they going to compete Salt Lake City against Potomac? I don't think they are. I think they're going to view them on separate nights. And hopefully, I hope that Salt Lake City does. I think that there's no way Salt Lake City couldn't do good because Jen's got all of these legal issues. Now she's pled guilty. Hopefully this is a good season for her, and that people can really, take a look at her and, get a better idea what she's about, right? But Potomac, it looks so good. Like these ladies are bringing it. And Candace, I don't know if she said it or she tweeted it, and I actually really liked this. She said like the Real Housewives of Atlanta had to walk so that Potomac could run. And I feel like that's a true statement for the ladies. I'm excited to see Karen. I'm excited to see Ashley. I hope she keeps it classy though, because I'm just really scared she's gonna be like on the other end. Like, I don't know. She was just different when she was married to Michael because she was like Mr. Mike, the wife, the put together wife. And so like now they're allegedly buying a house together, even though they're separated. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Just does not make a whole lot of sense. Giselle seemed to not having, being accused of basically not having much of a storyline, and therefore she's going after Chris, Candace's husband, who she says allegedly made her feel uncomfortable at last year's reunion in a sexual way. Please hear me when I say that. Giselle is alleging that Chris made her feel uncomfortable at last year's reunion, and because like he was trying to test the waters to see if she would be down to get their freak on. I don't know what else to say about it. Like, it kind of sounds like nonsense, but I also think that Chris is a little unconventional, would be the word I would probably use for Chris. He's unconventional. And I think he drinks a lot. And I also think that he likes, I've heard allegedly that he likes to ski. So he's out late because he's at the bars drinking and skiing, like drinking a lot of Coca-Cola. His nose is drinking a lot of Coca-Cola. Definitely have heard that. We know that sometimes in the restaurant business that can be a common thing. And also if he's out late and he's drinking, we've heard that he likes to go skiing. So it's possible that he's out and about partying and drinking, and Candace is at home. And this is why he ended up DMing Ashley. So not only is Giselle claiming that Chris made her feel uncomfortable by making some sort of a pass, now we have Chris messaging Ashley through a DM. That's not a good look either, Chris. Is it? I mean, that is not a good look. I feel like Candace's mom would give up her next 5 years of salary if Candace would leave Chris. I really do. I think that she would just buy Candace the world if she would leave Chris, which what's the world if you love somebody, right? What's money if you're in love with someone? But I just wonder, because I always kind of wonder when they got married if they were really, ready to get married, I guess, because I thought it was for the show. So anyway, guys, if let's back to Beverly Hills. I want to know what you guys think about Kyle and Kathy. Like, how do you feel Kyle treated Kathy thus far? Okay, what do you think is going to happen? Like, what's the ending? How is this gonna end? Like, how is this going to end? And we haven't even seen the heart of it. Like, do you guys remember the scenes of Kathy trying to get into the store, and the door was locked, and the lady was like, "Oh, I'll go unlock the door," and Erika was like, "No, don't unlock the door," and they let Kathy be locked outside of a store. Kathy effing Hilton. F Lisa effing Rinna. Kathy effing Hilton. They just locked her out and said she couldn't shop. That's like a scene from Pretty Woman. I'm just saying. Like, she couldn't shop. She couldn't come in. They wouldn't let her in. And it was like freezing cold outside, and they just left her standing in the freezing cold and rain. Wild and very ballsy. Very, very ballsy. Like, Erika, you're drunk if you're leaving Kathy Hilton locked outside of a retail store in the freezing cold in Aspen. Kyle treated Kathy like a stepsister she didn't want in her family. Kyle is jealous of Kathy. I agree. 2 white trails of snow that blows up. Oh, thank you, JoJo, for explaining my code word skiing and what it really means. We have to be careful because we want to be demonetized. But anyways, guys, I want to know your thoughts on Beverly Hills. I want to know what you guys think is coming. And do you guys think that Kathy Hilton did or did not use a racial slur? Do you think that Erika is going to pivot and start turning the attention elsewhere? Because it was such a dramatic night, and she acted so erratic and said so much that I think it would make sense that Erika would want to pivot and take the attention off of herself. She doesn't even want to be like the drunk pillhead that needs rehab anymore. She's like, okay, I effed up. She probably doesn't even really remember what she said. And here's the worst part. The other ladies probably don't remember either because they were all eating brownies, special brownies, magic brownies, or they were drinking, right? So they probably couldn't even tell her what she said. She probably had to watch the episode. Anyways, the next day she was like, I don't need the cameras on me. Like, this got to go elsewhere. We got to turn the attention somewhere else. We need something that's bigger than Erika Jayne basically saying F the victims. Let's see what the judge says. Okay? They needed something bigger than that. So they took Kathy Hilton, and now we have this whole narrative of racial slurs and homophobic slurs. So I don't know, guys. I want to know what you think. Did she or didn't she? What are your predictions for Beverly Hills? Are they going to be keeping Rinna? Are they going to be keeping Kyle? Just saying. Kelly says drinking, eating brownies, and possibly skiing. Let's not pretend that Lisa Rinna didn't say everyone at Dorit's house got up after dinner and went to the bathroom. You guys remember that? That's why I tell you guys, go back. Watch the season from the beginning. You will learn so much about some of your favorite people that you're watching on the reality show right now. You have to go back where it started. You have to get a couple of episodes in from older seasons and pay attention because it really helps you know how people move, how these ladies make their moves. People are predictable. You have to watch them, right? That's what we're doing. We're watching them on TV. If you go back and watch some of the stuff, you won't even believe it. And you'll come back to the channel and you'll comment, because this has happened plenty of times, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I went back to the beginning and there was this scene between Kyle and Kathy, or there was this scene at Dorit's house where everyone ate dinner and then got up and went to the bathroom. And the only people left at the table was Lisa Rinna and an alleged drug dealer. So, yeah, it's like you got to go back. You got to know. That's why I'm the housewife historian, because you got to go back and watch the old episodes, and you got to be willing to do your research. I can't believe you said New Jersey cast were skiing season 3 before the christening. I know, but that's what I heard from a source that's in New Jersey. I think they were doing a lot of that. I don't believe Brandy when she said that meth would have those bodies destroyed. I didn't believe that Brandy was on meth. I don't know. I think Brandy took too many pills probably that were prescribed from doctors, and she was drinking on top of it. But her hands looked really swollen, and that always triggered me to wonder if she was doing IV use, because her hands and wrists and arms never looked very good. That was a little concerning, I thought. In a few episodes, I noticed how swollen her hands were. So Brandy said the Richards sisters were on meth. Oh, I don't think that's true. I think that Kyle, just like Kim says, probably drinks every day. Kathy's always been known to be a big partier. And we know Kim. I think that Kim partied with Robert Downey Jr., so she's probably went the hardest out of all of the housewives. I would say Kim would probably be the one that has the most experience with, harder drugs and lifestyle. But I think actually now she's like the most wise out of Kathy and Kyle and Kim. I think Kim's the wisest one out of all of them. I think she learned a lot getting rehabilitated from her addiction. So yeah, Robert Downey Jr. Yes, because if you go back, there was, oh my gosh, Sassoon. I cannot remember her name. She was a blonde. She had curly hair, and she was the daughter of the man who invented Sassoon. It was like the hair thing, and she had a sister that was with Kim and Robert Downey Jr. and a bunch of people somewhere partying. Eden, thank you, JoJo. JoJo knows her shit. Eden, Mia, yes. She had a sister And do you guys remember the sister overdosed and died when she was with Kim and Robert Downey Jr. all together partying? And that's why Kim didn't really want to be around her, because she said it was like hard for her to be around her. Yeah, Kim, like I said, Kim knows where all the bodies are buried. Isn't Robert housing Army Hammer? I don't know. I heard Erika's housing Army Hammer. He lives next to her in her rental that she rents from two attorneys that don't want their name public. But if you go look up the records, it's easy to find them. They're affiliated with Girardi and Keese. So again, all of this was planned. Their divorce was planned. The house she lives in. Mensa, I rewatched all the seasons of Beverly Hills and I detested Kyle from the very beginning. Yep, her concern was used as a catalyst for a fight. Eden said Rinna used her that season. But she likes older men, question mark? I heard Robert's housing Hammer too. He's selling timeshares now. Oh, the tea girl, you spill it. I love you. Thank you, Majestic. I love you too. If you guys do love my channel, please hit that like button. It really helps my videos. Please subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel. Okay, I want to hit like 5,000 before I get to BravoCon, so I got like a month. But that's why you guys got to subscribe and turn your notifications on, because BravoCon, I'm gonna get the tea from Frank. Like, I don't think you guys realize, like, I'm talking meet and greet. Like, we're gonna sit down and have a conversation, because I'm like help with the foundation, and he has since helped with the same foundation, and now we're all getting together. So I'm gonna be like, hanging out. Just saying, that's where I'm gonna be, and I'm gonna keep you guys all in the loop, and I'm gonna post lots of tea. So that's why you guys got to make sure that you're subscribed. Let me know if any of you guys are going to BravoCon, like comment. I'm kind of curious to see like who out of viewers are actually going. The tickets were outrageous for 3 days. They were expensive. I don't know how many people I don't know, but it was like $1,000, I think, or like 1,200 for all 3 days of BravoCon, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the way that they get you is they don't really tell you who is going to be what day. So if you wanted to buy a 1-day pass, they sell out really quickly. And then, of course, you don't know what day to buy a pass, because you don't know what day who's going to be where. So, yeah. Just want to know what you guys think of BravoCon if you're going to be going. Thank you, Fifi. Congratulations, because you're only 3 away from 4K, which is amazing, guys, because I literally started this channel with 100 followers. Like, Jenny from Bravo and Blaze, love her, but she's like business-minded content creator, and she like wanted me to come on and talk about how I was able to grow my channel so quickly. So I really appreciate all of you guys that subscribe and like and follow, and I will keep the tea coming. All right, guys, have a great day.